Welcome to another edition of My Opinion here on My Opinion TV. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell. So as soon as a video is released, you'll be one of the first to be notified. And I want to thank you all my loyal subscribers so far. I have just passed the 400 mark, heading towards the 500 mark. And for those who are watching this, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do and help the growth of this channel. Now, this morning we want to talk about a few things, mainly follow up to certain cases. And the first one I want to talk about is that popular Portland businessman, Everton Beachy Stout. Well, based on what happened yesterday, there was a police press conference, and we heard certain information being divulged by the police commissioner and acting commissioner of police, Fitz Bailey, assistant commissioner of police, Fitz Bailey, as it relates to certain cases taking place in Jamaica. And one of note is that of the case of Everton Beachy Stout McDonald in Portland is now officially being charged for the death of his first wife, Marlene, who was shot dead outside her home in Boundary, Portland in 2009. That's 12 years ago, and the police have refreshed the case, and now Beachy Stout will have to stand trial for the murder of his two wives. How funny this is, because he's presently doing prison time for plotting the death of his second wife, Tonya McDonald, who was brutally stabbed on Monday, July 20, 2020. Now, with all the money Beachy Stout has, this is the way he chose to get rid of his wives. If they are not seeing eye to eye, the easiest way is to walk away. But Beachy Stout clearly doesn't believe in walk away. He believes in taking the lives of his lovers. And clearly, the police have been doing extensive investigation. First up, we can tell you that one man was charged and he's crown witness for the situation with Beachy Stout, especially in his second wife. He told the court he was offered $3 million by Everton Beachy Stout McDonald to carry out the hit on his wife, and he gave that man direct instruction that she should not be shot. She should be stabbed and her body burnt. I'm sorry. The man who was found guilty of that murder is a fisherman from Portland, Denvalin Minot, and he was the one who carried out the attack on Tony McDonald. At one point, he broke down and said McDonald trusted him so much, and he felt also bad about the situation. Minot was sentenced to 19 years in prison. Now, the attention is now turned to Beachy Stout on his trial with Tony McDonald and see what his sentencing will be or what verdict they will come up against him. But now he has another one added to his situation where his first wife, Marlene McDonald, was murdered, and the police, after digging up the case after 12 years, have decided to finally charge McDonald. But let me know what you think in the comment section and try to keep it as interactive as we can. But definitely, of all the money that Beachy Stout has, as long as persons go forward and give the police information and the police have a solid witness, no matter how much money McDonald has, that won't save him. But let me know what you think in the comment section. As I said, we try to keep it pretty much very interactive here on My Opinion TV. Another case we want to look at is the priest who was murdered in Clarendon in 2020. The police now has officially charged two persons for the death of 36-year-old Reverend Father Loris Lewis. He was murdered in Clarendon on September 23rd, and the police have now charged 22-year-old Lloyd Thompson, otherwise called Danjay, and 20-year-old Tafari Wilson, both of Roxbury District in Clarendon. And the police report at about 4:30 p.m., both accused and Lewis got into an argument when a piece of furniture was used to strike him over the head. According to the police, they then stole a desktop computer, a tablet, a Samsung A10 smartphone from the house, and a 2018 Hyundai Creta motor car. An investigation was launched, and both men were subsequently held and taken to the police station. Now, their court dates are being finalized. They were held on Friday, January 22nd. But one thing of note here, look at the ages of these suspects. One, 22, the other 20. Basically, young men who have not lived any life. This is the route they have chose to live their life. To be a criminal, to be a culprit, to be, when there are so many other options that they could have taken onto themselves. The building Heart Trust Jamaica have so much courses that these young men can delve in, try to get a skill, try to learn something, but instead they rather go the route of trying to be disruptive and try to kill and destroy and create mayhem in Jamaica. As we are aware, Clarendon is one of those parishes that is struggling with its fair share of crime and criminality, and these two young men, we are glad that the cops hold on to them, and we hope they will have the sufficient evidence, the sufficient information that will have these guys severely punished and put away for a long time, because some of these guys, they are no importance to society. And what troubles me most about these guys is that even when they're held and they go before the court and they're found guilty and they go to prison, it's like there's no rehabilitation. They come back out even worse than how they went in. So I don't know what's the solution, but for some persons in Jamaica, they're heavily calling for hanging to be resumed. Am I for that? I'm dead certain, yes, I am for that. Hanging to be resumed in Jamaica, and once that is resumed, I guess it might be not 100% totally deterrent, but at least it will be some deterrent to some of these criminals who will think twice when they're about to commit certain acts. But let me know what you think in the comment section. As I said, we try to keep it very respectable and we try to keep it interactive as we can. The other story I want to look at is still the follow-up to the death of the NCB worker, Mrs. Andrea Lowe Garwood, who was shot and killed in a place of sanctuary in Falmouth, Trelawney. The gunman who is believed to have carried out the deadly attack on the banker is reportedly turned himself over to the police, and he's being investigated in a number of homicides across St. James since the start of the year. Garwood was shot dead on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. during a praise and worship session at Agape Christian Fellowship Church. And we all know the video of that has gone viral, where persons were in the church giving thanks and praises to God when the incident occurred. Now, within hours, 3 persons, the owner of the getaway car, the driver of the rented car, and the victim's stepson, were taken into custody as the hunt for the triggerman started. Yesterday, the suspect turned up at the Freeport police station in Montego Bay, St. James, accompanied by his attorney, Martin Thomas. The suspected shooter, who resides in the parish of St. James in the community of Rose Heights, is now in police custody, a senior police officer confirmed yesterday, after the Deputy Commissioner Fitzbailey told journalists that he had been taken in. He said, we have reason to believe that this particular individual is a gun for hire and was hired as a hitman to take out Lowe Garwood, the senior cop said. He also has strong suggestions to believe that he may be behind other killings that have taken place in St. James since the start of the year. Now, for St. James, since the start of the year, we are just into February, and 18 persons have been murdered in St. James already. And with the son of Low Garwood, late husband, tour bus operator Jeffrey Garwood, among those detained. Investigators have pointed to a family feud as a possible trigger to the murder. And on social media, all sort of voice notes and all sort of theories have been going around. But I'm not one to jump onto some of these theories, because at the end of the day, if you don't know certain things, you can't make an assumption for these types of killing. When it's family feud, most of the time, there's so much information that is out there, and all it takes is just one person to run with a particular story, and it's all over the media. Because as it relates to this case with Andrea Low Garwood, at first when the incident occurred, all we heard was that she broke a major credit card scam in St. James, and that's the reason for her being killed. But as the dust settled, we realized that it was really a family feud that triggered everything. And to make matters even worse, after her husband died, what we are getting from also the police is that she had to be escorted by police to the funeral. So tension was brewing all along since the death of her husband and the wife and the family members. Now, it culminated in Garwood being murdered in the house of God, in the sanctuary where most people think it would be a safe place because gunmen or criminals would not cross that. But clearly, this gunman had other ideas, and he showed how brazen they can be. Well, the good news is that he's turned himself over to the police, because if he hadn't done that, more than likely the outcome would have been different. So we hope the police will do their investigation. As they said, they suspect that this man might have been involved in a lot more murders. So they are doing their investigation, and I hope they will come up with answers as it relates to this man, and he will have his time in court, and whatever evidence is up against him, he will fight the evidence that is up against him, and at the end of the day, he will have a fair trial. But for this situation, I hope once he's found convicted, once he's identified as the killer, no long time in terms of trial, just get rid of him right away. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell. As soon as a video is released, you'll be one of the first to be notified. Until next time, take care of a loved one, take care of a neighbor, look out for the loved ones, and always remember, look out for the children. And don't forget, keep it locked on My Opinion TV.